Welcome to Eye on the Illini Live. This is Mike Kegley with Kedrick Prince. We are here getting for the Michigan State-Illinois game up in Breslin in East Lansing. We will see how the Illini do in both. I'd say Michigan State feels a little more backed up against the wall. And the way I would that is against Jeremy Fears. So apparently they feel they need the victory enough to not worry about some of his actions on the court. Ked?
Well, I'm a little disappointed. Not because it's Illinois. They could be playing Northwestern. There should have been some consequences, and maybe there will be some. I don't know. That's just the right thing to do. Mike, you and I had a talk before we got on this podcast, and when was it Griffin who did that in Illinois? Alan Griffin?
Yep. Right. Alan Griffin, yep.
Yeah, Big Ten stepped in immediately, and there were some consequences to it. But at the same time, you know what? If you beat them with their best, that's what you want. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I would much rather go on the road without Kylan Boswell and beat Michigan State with Jeremy Fears, although that's hardly a guarantee. It's going to be a tough game to win it up in Breslin.
It will be. And I think, again, you want that, and you want to beat them at full strength, so there's no excuses. I'm really curious to see tonight. I mean, there's a lot of hype between Keaton Water and Jeremy Fears Jr. Go head to head tonight on the big stage. It stinks of the way the Big Ten is now in 2026 because you don't get the home and home with some teams. And it would be great because one guy could get in foul trouble and the other one sits, and then they get to win the bragging rights or take the bragging rights home. So I'm just excited about the game. This is a really, really big game for just Big Ten purposes, but also the Illinois fans know this isn't a rivalry, but it's a rivalry game just because it's Michigan State. Your team is playing well. You want to beat them. It's great. I just hope they play well. If they play well and go out and do what they've done the last few weeks. But Mike, the keys to the game to me, they better get back on defense. You have to get back on defense and you got to hope that they don't shoot the ball well because they're not a good shooting team. But against Minnesota the other night, it's one of the best shooting performances Michigan State's had all season.
Yeah, and as we see here, the starters just got announced, and we're looking at Stojakovic, Wagler, Merkovich, Davis, and Tomislav, and going up against Jeremy Fears, Jackson Kohler, Jordan Scott, Cohen Carr, and Carson Cooper. So you're looking at a team. Each team has one starter out, with Devine out for Michigan State, and obviously Boswell out for Illinois. This game is going to be critical for Illinois to have an opportunity to really, they're kind of going after a little bit of history here, Ked. Have an opportunity to win 13 in a row, and that's pretty impressive. And they've won 10 consecutive Big Ten games, which is also a big one. So Illinois has an opportunity to really get that streak going. And I will say one thing. They have had a heck of a battle up against between Brad Underwood and Tom Izzo, with Michigan State leading that battle 8-5 under Underwood's tenure. But you have to remember the first 2 years of Underwood's tenure, Illinois stunk.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. I agree with that. I remember that. I'm paying attention to what you're saying, Mike, and I'm pleased with you, but I'm looking on social media, and the starting lineup is posted everywhere. I think a lot of people are surprised and upset and disappointed that Tom is starting him. There should have been some consequence. I don't care if you had a conversation with him. I'm sorry to get off topic. There should have been something so the fans could see, because who knows what you said to him. You could have slapped him on the wrist and said, "Bad boy, knock it off," and been done. I'm not a fan of that. Sorry, I'm off topic.
No, that's fine.
That lineup is everywhere. Everybody's posting it everywhere. I think people are disappointed in that.
Yeah. No, we just wanted to share it with people, especially when we're out here. Of course, this is probably one of the great rivalries in the Big Ten. Michigan State leads the all-time series 67-64. They currently are on a 3-game winning streak. One wonders how well Illinois could have done if they just hadn't hired John Gross. But that's a if you take a look at Illinois, that 5-year period of John Gross coupled with the last couple of years of Bruce Weber, man, that really hurt Illinois in the all-time rankings. And most of the great teams try to avoid the mediocre coach. Illinois didn't dodge that bullet at all. You're talking about transition defense for the Illini. The other thing I think is really critical is I think Illinois have to hit their open threes. This is not a night to be in a situation where you're not going to be able to shoot from outside. Illinois can't afford to go 1 for their first 11 from the 3 against Michigan State on the road.
They can't. And what I like for the people, I mentioned transition defense, but the new term, the collegiate term, is secondary break. They do a tremendous job of getting that ball to the sideline and then to the baseline to go one-on-one, or they have the big trail. It's going to be huge for Tommy, David, and Zonomir to get back on defense, and even Ben Humrickhouse. That is going to be huge because you have to stop that break. And if there's a big fellow there, that's going to change the outlook of what they're trying to do. I'm going to tell you right now, there's not going to be very many open looks. What I hope to see, and I was told I can look, I guess, myself, the high knees is going to be there. I don't want to see a lot of hand checking. I don't want to see the last 2 games. I thought Keith Wagler had been, he hasn't been beat up, but he's not getting the benefit of the doubt of the calls. And I know Christmas was over for people who do Christmas or Happy Hanukkah or whatever. I hope to gosh that Coach Underwood get up and he's aggressive at protecting him tonight, because I don't want to see him taken out of the game. I don't want to see hand checking. I don't want to see any of that stuff. I want to see the game called the way it's supposed to be called and to be fair about it. I don't want to see Tom Izzo on the sidelines down there complaining every time, getting the benefit of the doubt of the calls either. So if they're going to step up, that's, oh my gosh, I do. Jeffrey Anderson is there. Oh my goodness, it's over. Just kidding. He is there. I just saw it.
Brad Sturdy, for those people who are Illini guys, subscribers, he puts together keys to the game. And the 2 that I think are going to be hard to achieve, both of them, is one is second chance points. Illinois is going to need to bang the offensive rebounds. But like you, Brad said, transition defense is going to be important. And sometimes if you're playing transition defense, you don't get those offensive rebounds that you're normally used to. Do you see that being a challenge for the Illini? My personal opinion, rebounding is going to be tough, Illinois, tonight. Michigan State is physical. They are aggressive and they're good on defense. If you look back at the Michigan game last week, that game didn't get really blown open until late in the second half. They're going to guard. Illinois better set screens. They better not move. When they get an opportunity to get an open shot, they better knock it down. Think about it. Michigan State's not a good offensive team, and they know it. They really only have, now I could be wrong because it can happen, Fears is their best offensive players. When they went to Rutgers a couple weeks ago, he got in foul trouble. They were going to get beat. They should have won. I would have fouled at the end of the game. You saw what happened. They went to Minnesota. But late in that Minnesota game, Mike, they got hot. And you got guys that had confidence. So if they're going to win this game, they're going to have to – they're not going to outjump them. Yes, Illinois is long, and you're going to hear the announcer say it 10 times, it's the tallest basketball team in the country, the least falling team in the country. They have to put their gluteus maximus on someone tonight, because you are not going to just outjump them. They're athletic, and they play tough defense, and they crash. That's the Tom Izzo team. And Illinois needs to, I think, get the crowd out early, get Keaton Wagner going early. And the key to this, if I'm Brad Underwood, I'm telling Keaton Wagner to get to, if Jamie Fears is guarding him, get him on the block and get him in foul trouble and sit him down. Yes, because you can tell us, kid, how tall is Jeremy Fears really?
If he's lucky to be 6 foot tall, I'm telling you, I know that firsthand.
And how tall is Keaton Wagner really?
About 6'5", 6'4.5". Now, you can tell. You guys can look and tell when you. I'm gonna tell you what, Zonomir is a legitimate 6'7". And when kids come out of the game, I can tell by who they're standing next to. If you remember one of our first podcasts, Mike, I was the one that told you that Ben Humrickhouse grew. That kid tall, and I don't know. He's 30 years old, and he's still growing. He grew, but you can tell by how tall players are standing next to Zonomir. because that's a big individual.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be an opportunity. Look, folks, Tom Izzo teams don't allow easy baskets. If you're going to get a basket in the lane, you're going to play through some contact. They're going to rebound hard, and they're going to play tough defense. That is going to happen. So anybody thinking that is not going to happen tonight is crazy. Illinois is going to have to rebound well. They are going to have to hustle back on defense. The other thing that I do think they're going to have to do is they're going to have to keep their composure, because there's going to be times when emotions get high and you can't be the person who reacts and eat the technical up in Breslin, because you know as well as I do, Izzo's going to be hanging off the ear of a referee, and the minute an Illinois player does anything, he's going to be pointing and screaming.
If we want to keep guys in games, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm worried about Tomislav and Jake Davis. I'm telling you, Tommy is a BA guy, and so is Jake Davis. If there's any kind of scuffles, Jake may have the mindset to back off. You push Tommy's button, Illinois fans are going to see a replica of what they saw in Indiana last year. Because I'm going to tell you, that is one kid that is not going to back down. I know this is apples and oranges, but remember who the guy was that broke that guitar in Tennessee. That dude has no filter, and he is a professional gangster, if you want to call it. I would love to play with that guy. You want to go to Pizza Hut? That's who I'm taking with me, baby.
It's like the Jokic brothers.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think that is that composure. And look, Illinois has executed on offense all year long. And I do think that they just have to go out and play ball like they do, hit the open threes. If they make the extra pass and they hit the open threes, if this game stays just a basketball game, I think Michigan State will struggle to keep up with Illinois, because while Michigan State is a very good defensive team, they aren't that good of an offensive team. And if Illinois is shooting well, I think that's where Illinois can put pressure on Michigan State to see if they can keep up with the Illini.
It's a big opportunity on the big stage again. Regardless of what happens, they're going to play hard. At the end of the day, I don't care. I obviously care what happens, but if they play hard and they get beat by a better team, tip your hat to them, 12 in a row. But I want the W. I really want this W for so many purposes. I think Illinois is a 2 seed right now. But also, people, if you don't know, the seedings are done 1 through 4. So you want to be on that. If you're a 2 seed, you want to be 1 or 2. You don't want to be 3 or 4. That's all done by analytics. So if you're on the 2 side, let's move up. If you're on that 2 line, let's move to the left side of it.
Yep. So, folks, we're just about ready for Fox to take over. So we are going to bow out of here. But just remember, as a little memory code I use, the Illini guys, halftime live show is at the half. So we will be back on here at the half. It's I know it's a little hard to remember. Come on in there. And, of course, after the game, 5 minutes after the game, we'll be on here. It'll be Brad, Ked, and myself. And for halftime, and then when we get to the end of the game, Illinois legend Marcus Griffin will join us as well. Should be a great night. Until we talk again, folks, go Illini.